everybody, welcome to Experimental Kitchen, and today we are going to make another sandwich, but this time we're going to fry it. Yep, that's right, I said fry it. That's right, we're going to make a fried cheese sandwich. And how do you make a fried cheese sandwich? Well, I'm about to show you. Alright, let's look in the refrigerator. Alright, looks like you see some mozzarella cheese, so let's use that. Of course you grab the mozzarella cheese, because whenever you think of frying cheese, you always think about the mozzarella. But mozzarella by itself is such a one-dimensional flavor, okay? Like, you put it on pizza, but you hardly ever put it on pizza alone. But we're talking even more than that, okay? We're gonna put some meat in that thing. So let's see what else we got in the refrigerator. Alright, looks like we got some sausage and some ham. Now let's go ahead and put the pan on the stove and turn the heat up to high. And let's go ahead and throw a sausage in there. We only need one sausage for this. And let's throw one of the slices of ham in there too. Alright, now it's time to start chopping all that stuff up. You got your spatula and just start poking it around and chopping it up. And you want to chop it up real fine so that way it mixes in with the cheese really good. There we go. Alright, now just keep stirring it until it's completely cooked. Now let's put the pot on the stove and start filling it up with oil. I like to fill it up till it's about an inch on the bottom of the pan. And that should be just enough to cook our cheese. Alright, now let's get to work on the cheese. Now you're going to want to measure out about a cup of cheese here. Just like that. Alright, now let's start putting our meat in there. And we're going to start stirring it around. And now you're going to want to make sure your hands are clean for this, or you're going to get all kinds of nasty crap inside of your cheese. So just stir it around, mix it around, try to dig down deep, get everything up the bottom, up near the top, and that should work. Now let's put it in the microwave. And I'm going to put it in there for about 20 seconds. Alright, and just let it go. After it comes out, you want to pull it out, and we're going to mix it up some more. So just get your hand in there, and just start mixing up everything, just like we did before. After you're done stirring it, you're going to want to put it back into the microwave, and let's put it in there for another 20 seconds. That should do it. And just let it go. Alright. So after it's done cooking, go ahead and pull it back out. And you'll notice how it's kind of half melted right now. It's not completely melted. So go ahead and stir it around a little bit more, mix it up, and then you're going to want to put it back in there for another 20 seconds. And this third 20 seconds should pretty much do it. Alright, so after it's all said and done, you should have something that looks like this. Now you can't fry the cheese by itself, you gotta coat it in something, so let's go see what we got in the cabinet. Let's see here. Looks like we got some white flour, we'll take that, and pepper, take some of that, and some salt, perfect. So grab your bowl and put about a cup of flour in there, and pour some salt in there. I didn't measure these out, so you're just gonna have to use your own judgment, and then throw the pepper in there finally. And stir it up a little bit with the fork. If you have a whisk, those work even better, but I didn't have a whisk on hand right now. Alright, so that flour is not going to stick to the cheese unless you put something on it, so let's go see what we got in the refrigerator. We got some milk. Grab some milk and take it back over to the counter. Now we're going to just pour a little bit into the bowl next to the flour, grab your cheese, and this is the fun part here, just kind of squish it around and make it into the shape of your bread. I'm going to be using the rectangular slices of bread, so obviously I'm going to want a rectangular slice of cheese, so that way I can cover the entire bread with my cheese. Alright, so after you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and start dipping it in the milk. I want to make sure it's completely covered in the milk. Now, this part here is the most messy part, so just make sure it's completely covered in milk, and then you want to put it into the flour and pat it down a little bit on that one side, flip it over, do the same thing on the other side. Make sure it's completely covered in flour. Sometimes the milk will just kind of soak up the flour that you put on it, so you want to keep flipping it around. And then we're going to go back into the milk. The reason why I'm going back into the milk and then into the flour is so that way I can get a thicker layer of flour, because that thin little wimpy layer of flour just isn't going to handle the cheese, so we got to have multiple layers of flour so that way we can contain the cheese within without it leaking all over the place. Alright, next step is to put in the oil. So this oil is extremely hot. It's about
275 degrees to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's extremely hot, and this stuff will definitely burns right away. So you want to be extremely careful with this stuff. After about a minute, you can see it's starting to turn brown, and I'm just going to go ahead and flip it over real quick and check out the other side. It looks like it's cooked pretty evenly, so I think we're just about done. So now we're going to pick it up, and we're going to transfer it over to a plate that has a bunch of paper towels on it for a setup. And you just set it down, and it's perfect.
You're probably wondering, what do I do with this extra flour stuff that I made? Like, you know, I got salt and pepper in it, like I can't just use it for baking cookies now. And you know what I'm supposed to do with it? Well, luckily, since you didn't use it for raw meat this time, you can just stick it in the refrigerator and you don't have to worry about bacteria growing on it and killing you in the future. And what do I do with that milk? Well, it's not very much milk. This is like maybe half a cup of milk. But if you don't want to just throw it away, I guess you could just drink it. Yep, that didn't taste good.
Alright, now it's time for assembly, so go ahead and put your piece of bread down, put your cheese on top of that bread, and put your bread on top of that cheese, and you're done.
Alright, so now we have our sandwich. Look at the size of this sandwich. Alright, so this is a pretty hefty sandwich here. You might think, like, that's a ridiculous amount of cheese, and yes, it is a ridiculous amount of cheese. I was thinking, a cup of cheese, you know, that's not that bad, but I mean, look at the size of this thing, like, oh. But, let's take a bite of this thing and see how it tastes. Yep, see that stringy thing? String? That's good. So, really, this isn't like a super amount of cheese. It's just got lots of air in it from when it was cooking and everything. But it is good. It's got a crunchy shell on the outside, the cheesy goodness on the inside with the sausage and everything's like, oh man, this is a good sandwich. I'm going to definitely enjoy this one. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Okay, I upload regularly and make awesome stuff like this super cool fried cheese sandwich. And don't forget to leave comments below too. Comment, tell me, what do you want me to try to make next? 'Cause I'll make anything if I can. So I guess I'll see you next time on Experimental Kitchen.